أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما محمد إلا رسول صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قد خلت من قبله الرسل أفإن مات أو قتلا انقلبتم على أعقابكم ومن ينقلب على عقبيه فلن يضر الله شيئا وسيجزي الله الشاكرين. وما كان لنفس أن تموت إلا بإذن الله كتابا مؤجلا ومن يرد ثواب الدنيا نؤته منها ومن يرد ثواب الآخرة نؤته منها وسنجزي الشاكرين. وكأين من نبي قاتل معه ربيون كثير فما وهنوا لما أصابهم في سبيل الله وما ضعفوا وما استكانوا والله يحب الصابرين. وما كان قولهم إلا أن قالوا ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. فآتاهم الله ثواب الدنيا وحسن ثواب الآخرة والله يحب المحسنين. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغ رسوله النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
Jazakallah Faiz. Allah give you reward for this beautiful recitation. Allah bless you and your family with this barakat of Quran, the recitation of Quran. So the ruku or the part that we today recited, it has to do with the two elements. Revelation, the timeline of the revelation is after the Battle of Uhud. So in this one, as last week when we discussed Battle of Uhud, I would like to, repeat a little bit as a reminder that, we discussed that after Battle of Badr, the whole Arabia, recognized that Muslims are now power to reckon with. But Abu Sufyan, he gathered not only Quraysh, but also he was able to use his diplomacy and allied, other Banu Kanana and another tribe. And not only that, in that time, poets, they used to play a role very much like a media today. So these poets, they were hired as a paid propaganda thing. And throughout the Makkah, they started this campaign to lament on what happened in Badr. And this how Abu Sufyan was able to gather an army which was 3,000 strong, and he was able to march like in Shawwal. This battle of Badr took in Ramzan, and this battle took in Shawwal. So it was all about exactly as 1 year. So Abu Sufyan was able to march from Mecca to Medina in a very short time, just 1 week. He was normal time travel between Mecca and Medina would be 2 weeks, or at haste even 10 days. But he was able, and this how he reached the outskirt of Medina, the mountain Uhud area, in a record time. And when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he realized, so there was some different opinions how to defend Medina. Was it to stay in Medina and fight it, or to go out of the Medina and meet the enemies in the valley of Uhud? So finally, it was decided that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will go out, and all the Muslims, and this is how 1,000 strong Muslim army went and met a 3,000 strong Quraysh army. And with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam blessing and his immense planning and his strategy, Muslims army was able to defeat a much stronger, 3 times stronger army of Quraysh, and they started retreating from the battlefield. And we also, just a reminder that there was one person from Medina. His name was Abu Amir, and he was in the day of Jahiliyyah. He had converted to Christianity, and he was the uncle or the mamu of the chief of the hypocrites. The chief of hypocrites in Medina was Abdullah bin Ubay. He was called the Raisul Munafiqeen, or the chief of hypocrites. And he hypocritically converted to Islam after the Battle of Badr. And he said that I'm a Muslim, because he thought it is politically suitable to call himself Muslim. But he and his followers, they started, conspiring against Islam from within. But on the other hand, his uncle, who was Abu Amir Fasiq, he openly opposed Islam. And what he did, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he went to Medina, he thought that his priesthood, he wanted to convert people of Medina from paganism to Christianity. But when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to Medina, and mostly all the Medina mostly accepted Islam, so he realized that his plot to convert people to Christianity failed. So he fled to Mecca and collaborated with Quraysh. And he said that, okay, I will come and with you to Medina, and when my people see me, and they will see me as a priest. He was called Abu Amir Rahib, means pious one, or the priest. But Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he realized that his opposition to Islam, he said that call him Fasiq. Fasiq means misguided. So Abu Amir Fasiq came with Quraysh, and before the battlefield started, before the battle started, he addressed Ansar and said that you recognize me, I'm Abu Amir, come and join me. But these Ansar, they replied to me, we know you are Fasiq. And when he heard this word Fasiq, he really got annoyed. And what he had done it, that he had dug up, his followers had dug some ditches into the battleground. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is see the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Amir Fasiq, he was a very open enemy of Islam, but his own son, he came out with Muslims, and his name was Hunzala. And Hazrat Hunzala was recently married. And when the call for the jihad came, he was not even clean. So Hazrat Hunzala joined the ranks and came to the battlefield without having to clean himself, without to take a shower and all that. And it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's work that the father came from the Quraysh side, and the son, he came with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Same goes with the nephew of Abu Amr Fasir. The nephew of Abu Amr Fasir was Abdullah bin Ubay. Abdullah bin Ubay was a hypocrite, and his son was a devout Muslim. One day later on, what happened that when the son of Abdullah bin Ubay realized that his father had insulted Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and said that, if you order me, I will cut the head of my father and put on your feet. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said no. So he said that I will never like you to do that. But this is the interesting facts that the two main enemies of Islam, their sons were devout Muslim. And Hazrat Hanzala, he met shahadat in the battle of Uhud, and since he was in the need of cleaning himself or shower, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent angels for him who bathed him. So when Sahaba Krams, after the battle, they went to see his body, they realized that his hairs are wet, his body is wet. So people did not understand that how come it seems that he has just taken a shower. So people, when they did not understand, they asked Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So that's when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say that it's a ghasilul malaika, that angels come and give him bath. That's why his hairs are all wet. So the Quraysh, they had different departments within that tribe, and before the battle, so a particular tribe, Banu Abdul Dar, they were the banner or the eagle bearers. They will come with the standards or their flag, and so it was in the Banu Abdul Dar. So when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam realized that it was Banu Abdul Dar person holding, his name was Talha bin Talha, who was holding actually the banner of Quraysh. So he appointed another Sahabi. It was who was from Abdul Dar, Musab bin Umair, that you hold the banner standard of Islam, and that's how the Muslims, they have one person from Abdul Dar, Musab bin Umair, holding the banner, and it was Talha bin Talha who was doing that. So first it started with dole, and in the very first dole, the flag bearer Talha bin Talha, he died in that dole, and after that his brother Usman bin Talha, he came forward and he died too, and one by one 10 people from Banu Abdul Dar died. But after 10 people, there was nobody left to lift up the flag. So one of the slave from Abdul Dar, he picked up the flag and he fought and he died too. And he was a African slave who died. And after that, their lawa or their flag was left in the battleground for a long time, but nobody had the courage to come and pick it up because they had seen the 10 people and one slave from Abdul Dar losing their life. So when it was a great humiliation for Quraysh that their flag was lying on the ground and nobody had courage to pick up. So finally, one woman, she came forward and lifted up the flag, and that's how then the general fighting happened. And Quraysh, not only they had used every aspect of the war for propaganda, they had hired some poets who will rally the support of general people, and they will talk. Those poets will talk, and they had also brought 15 of the women Quraysh that they will encouraging their warriors to fight back, and especially Hinda, the wife of Abu Sufyan. She was the main person who was cheering up all the things. So she even said the poetry, Nahnu banatu tariq, Nyamshi alay namariq. We are the daughters of the stars, and we walk on the carpet. And if you go forward and fight, we will hug you. And if you show the cowardness, we will not entertain you. So that's what she was saying. And they were beside her. There were all 14 other women. So before the battle started, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he had a sword, and he said that, who will do the justice to this sword? So people ask, what is the justice to this sword? So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say that fight so hard that it will get bent. So many arms came forward that give this sword to me, gives the sword to me. And there was one Ansari Sahabi, his name was Abu Dajaja. Abu Dajaja came, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave this sword to Abu Dajaja. And he fulfilled the right of that sword. And he fought so bravely that when the general, after the duels, when the general fighting started, Abu Dajaja, he went fighting, and where the cheerleading women of Quraysh was, and I mean the Hinda wife of Abu Sufyan was there. He almost came, and he came within the reach of that. He wanted to kill Hinda, but he realized this is the sword of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Why would I, it is not befitting that I will use this sword to slay a woman. So he, avoided that. But he did fought very bravely. And another people, Musab bin Umar, who was from the Abdul Dar, and he was the early convert. Like Musab bin Umar, he was a very rich Sahabi, and he was quite young. He was, you can call it teenager or somebody who had converted to Islam, but he learned all the deen from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam very well. And he was the first ambassador of Islam. Although he was from a very rich family and born into, but when he faced prosecution, so Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam advised him to, go to Medina. And he went as an ambassador of Islam, as a first Muslim to Medina. And he, because of his effort, his immigration, or his move to Medina predates all the other Sahabas, because he was one of the pioneer Sahabas who came and taught Ansar about Islam, taught them, teach them how to, recite Quran, teach them how to make wudu and all that. And he had also had physical resemblance with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we discussed it that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he planned his battle, so he saw a potential or danger that enemy could attack from the back through the pass that was there in the Uhud mountain. So he appointed 50 archers. But when after initially Muslims won the battle, and these first to run away from the battlefield were the cheerleading women under the guidance of Hinda, the wife of Abu Sufyan. So when they ran away, generally all the warriors started running away. And when the warriors started running away, and so Muslims started, collecting the spoils of war. And those archers, when they saw that, enemy had fled the battlefield, and now Muslims were collecting the spoils of war. So they say that, this is something we will miss out on that. So the leader of archers at the pass, his name was Abdullah bin Jubair. Abdullah bin Jubair reminded that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us never to move from this pass. But most of it was a different interpretation, because those other Sahabas, the archers, they held their ground till the battle was there. But they say that this command was only till the battle was waging. But now we have won the war. Enemy is running away from that. So what they did, they went back from the pass into the battlefield and started correcting. So only Abdullah bin Jubair and 10 of those archers remained at the pass. So Khalid bin Walid, when he realized that the pass is empty, so he made a circle around the Uhud mountain and went through the pass and attacked Muslims from the rear, and that caused a confusion among Muslims. So those Muslims, so when this Quraysh who were running away from the battlefield, they realized that one of their horse-mounted cavalry, they had attacked the Muslims from the rear. So they turned their back and they started fighting too. So now Muslims became, encircled between two groups of Quraysh, and they had the numerical superiority as well. So they started fighting, and when they started fighting, there was a confusion, and Muslims started fighting with each other. The famous Sahabi of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his name was Huzaifa al-Yaman. He was called the secret bearer of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because later on we will, if we study his life, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew who the hypocrites were in Medina, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had told Huzaifa al-Yaman the names of all the hypocrites in Medina. So, but he was very good at keeping secrets, so he never told anybody who the hypocrites was. But Hazrat Umar Farooq knew that Huzaifa al-Yaman knew all the hypocrites. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told them, but he never told. So he asked, who are the hypocrites? So he said that I will not tell you. So Hazrat Umar Farooq started following Hazrat Huzaifa al-Yaman. If he would attend the funeral of any Ansari, so he will realize that he was a pure Muslim, and he will attend his funeral as well. But if you Huzaifa al-Yaman will not attend the funeral of anybody, so he will realize that he's a hypocrite. He will not. So when Hazrat Umar Farooq, when he became Khalifa and appointed the governor everywhere, so he went and asked, Huzaifa al-Yaman, that among my governors, is there any hypocrites? So Hazrat Huzaifa said that, yes, one of your governor is hypocrite. So Hazrat Umar Farooq said that, tell me the name of this hypocrite governor. So he said, I will not tell you. But Hazrat Umar Farooq himself realized who was a hypocrite and removed him from the office. But in the battlefield, when the Quraysh attacked from the back under the cavalry of Khalid bin Walid, there was so much confusion that father of Huzaifa al-Yaman, he was there, father and son was there, and Muslims thought as a father of Huzaifa al-Yaman as an enemy. They thought that enemy attacked from the back and they killed him. And Hazrat Huzaifa tried to save him, say, this is my father, don't kill him, don't kill him. But they would not listen, because there was so much confusion among Muslim ranks that father of Hazrat Huzaifa al-Yaman, he was martyred in that. And in that confusion, the flag bearer of Muslims, Musab bin Umair, he also got shaheed. He met his martyrdom. And as I said, he was an early convert and scholarly Sahabi, but he also had the resemblance with the blessed face of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when he got martyred and people saw his body lying on the ground, so Shaitan came and shouted, Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had been killed. And when people look at Musab bin Umair and they thought that it was Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this all kind of, so this is these beautiful ayats. Wama Muhammadin illa Rasul qad qalat min qabluhu Rasul. So this is the one referring to that. When the confusion happened and it was wrongly rumored that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had been martyred in the battlefield. So Muslims started losing the hope, and they started throwing away the swords and everything. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fell in one of the ditch that was dug by the followers Abu Amr Fasiq. So he fell and he injured himself. And when there was a confusion, so there was one Sahabi, I forgot the name of that, but when he saw in the ditch that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was there, so he helped Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam come out of the ditch. And when Sahaba Ikram, who had lost all the hope, they started throwing away the weapons. When they realized that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was alive, he appeared, his blessed face emerged from the ditch and says, I'm alive. So there was a new regeneration in the Muslims' rank, and they left him out of the ditch. And now the Quraysh realized that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was still alive. What they did, they concentrated all their attacks on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his Sahabas, some of the Sahabas, they showed great strength. Abu Bakr Siddiq, Qatada, and all that, they form a protective ring and they fought bravely. And what they did, slowly Muslims started retreating toward, Uhud mountain. And all of them, they went there. And we discussed that how Abu Sufyan shouted, he said that Hubal is great. And Hazrat Umar Farooq, at the command of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, said that Allah is great. And when Abu Sufyan said that, today we avenge the dead of, Badr. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Hazrat Umar Farooq to shout back that, your dead and our deads could not be equal. Your dead are in the hellfire and our dead are in the heaven. So after this thing, Hazrat Ali was told by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to see when the Quraysh started going back. So when Quraysh started going back, so see, are they mounting on the camels or they are mounting on the horseback? Because it was in that day when the Quraysh or all the Arabs in general, they will travel on the camelback, but they will fight on the horseback. So when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Hazrat Ali that, see, if they are on the horseback, that means they are heading toward Medina to attack, because that's their fighting mode of transportation. And if they are on the camelback, that means they are going back to Makkah. And when Hazrat Ali saw Quraysh returning, and they see that they are on the camelback, and their horses are beside them, so Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that they are going back toward Makkah. So although they had won the battle, but they did not have courage to attack Medina. And after the battle, in the battlefield, as I said, that Hazrat Hamza was met martyrdom through Vahshi. Vahshi was a slave of Jubair bin Matam, one of the leaders of Quraysh. And Hinda, the wife of Abu Sufyan, whose father, Adba, his her chacha, Sheba, and her brother, Walid, they had all been killed in Badr. So what she did, she went to this person, Vahshi, and said that if you kill any three of them, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hamza or Ali, I will arrange for your freedom. And what he did, everybody was fighting. Quraysh were fighting with Muslims, but he did not have to do anything. He hid behind a big rock, and he was just looking for those three people. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he realized that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is well guarded, so he could not come near him. So he saw Hazrat Ali, but he was fighting bravely, but he was also scanning the battlefield, so he could not approach. Hazrat Hamza was more involved in the fighting, and he could not realize that there's somebody hiding behind the rock. So Vahshi came out and threw a javelin at Hazrat Hamza, and Hazrat Hamza, it hit him and he fell and passed away. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that when Hazrat Hamza, the uncle of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he passed away from all the different heavens. So on each heaven he wrote, I am the lion of Allah and his Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was so, after that, when the battle, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did the namaz-e-janaza. So there were 70 shuhada of Uhud. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all the bodies will be bring one by one. And when they will bring it, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will lead the namaz-e-janaza, and the bodies or the coffin will be taken away. But when he was so much overwhelmed by Hazrat Hamza's death, that when they tried to lift up the body of Hazrat Hamza after namaz-e-janaza, he said, don't move it. So all the other sahabas whose namaz-e-janaza, he read the individual namaz-e-janaza on each and every 70 sahabas. But 70 times namaz-e-janaza was read for Hazrat Hamza. He was so much overwhelmed by the grief. And what was happening, that after Hazrat Hamza fell on the battlefield, Hinda, she came and she cut the nose and ears and the different body parts of Hazrat Hamza. She made a necklace out of that, and wore it. And she told Vahshi to cut open his stomach, and she grabbed the liver of Hazrat Hamza and she tried to eat the liver of Hazrat Hamza, but she could not did. She vomited. That's why everybody, the Muslims, they name Hinda, the liver eater, because she showed so much, you know, disrespect even for the dead. And what she did, all the jewelry, necklace she had it, she gave it to Vahshi. And that was the effect of that. Now, without any nose or any body, when a mutilated body, nobody could recognize it. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not wanted Bibi Safiya, the aunt of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the sister of Hazrat Hamza, to see the body of her dead brother. But she was a very courageous woman, Bibi Safiya. So she went, and without any nose or ears, because it was a mutilated body, she was able to recognize her brother and say, this is indeed Hamza. And that's how, you know, the body was brought. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam read Namaz-e-Janazah 70 times on Hazrat Hamza. And what happened after this battle? It was customary for women to weep on their dead one. And when they realized that most of those people who died in the battlefield was Ansar, that, you know, so the women were grieving, oh, you know, our brother died, our father died, all that. But since Hazrat Hamza did not have the family, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that, you know, how nobody is grieving on my uncle. So some women who were grieving their dead one, they came on the body of of Hazrat Hamza, and they grieve on it, and they started wailing and all that. But later on, the command came from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala not to wail on the dead. So some people, especially Shia school of thought, they use this hadith and say that, you know, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mourned his uncle too. But this was only incident in which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was overwhelmed by the grief of his uncle's passing away. But later on, command come not to wail like a Jahaliya wailing, like, you know, they will beat their chest and everything, the Matam area. Now there's another thing, that this is third year of Hijrah, in which it was rumored that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away. But in the 11th year of Hijrah, the 12th Rabiul Awwal, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did pass away from this worldly abode. And there's a parallel between Battle of Uhud and passing away of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. These ayats in which that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a prophet, an apostle, and many were apostles that passed away before him. And you see many of those things. Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam, who you know, Englishmen call it John the Baptist. So Yahya alayhi salam was killed. Hazrat Zakaria, he was killed in a very brutal manner, that a big, you know, saw was made to cut his body into two. So did it mean that if they passed away, or, you know, they got murdered, did it mean that, you know, their Nabuwa was not there? No, it did not affect it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wrath came on those people who came. But when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away, all the Medina, all the Sahabas were grief stricken. And Hazrat Umar Farooq draw his sword, and he said that anybody who says that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has passed away, I will, you know, kill him. And when Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq came, and he kissed Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on his forehead, and he recited the same ayats that are mentioned here. وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرَّسُولُ. And when he recited those ayats, so it seems that all the Muslims who were grief stricken, when Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq recited those ayats, what happened? It seems that they came out of this grief and trance. So every Sahabi, Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas says that when Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq recited these ayats, how much he recited, I do not know. Maybe he recited the whole ruku and all that. But it seems that people come out of the grief or the trance And they said that it seems that they had heard this ayahs for the first time. And Hazrat Umar Farooq realized that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is no more in this worldly thing. Now, it doesn't mean that when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away from this world, all the prophets, they're alive in their own grave. The same, so obviously the Amamul Anbiya is alive in his grave. And the proof of that is Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he went on the Miraj journey, he led the namaz from all those Anbiyas. And also, he had conversation with all those Anbiyas. When he was going on Miraj journey, so the first heaven, he went there, he met Adam alayhi salam. And, he then went to the second heaven, and he went to the third heaven and fourth heaven, and then the seventh heaven, he met Ibrahim alayhi salam near the Baitul Ma'mur. So this life that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and other prophets lived after their worldly departure, we cannot comprehend it. And that's what Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq recited these ayats in front of Muslims. So they realized that, as you know, the life, it has, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had passed away. And after that, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had also given indication that he's going. And after the Hujjatul Wida at Qadeer Kham, this is a place where he announced that Hazrat Ali Karamallahu Wajhu and his virtues. So he indicated, and he started saying, maybe you will not get an opportunity again. And it was he passed away on 12th Rabiul Awwal, 11th year of Hijrat. But in the Safar, it was 22nd of Safar, 11th year of Hijri, that he went around that time. It could not be. He attended a funeral and buried one of the Sahabi into Baqi. And after that, he started feeling the effect of illness. He had been poisoned earlier by a Jewish woman named Zainab, and the effect of those poison remained with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he started wearing a headband to cover the severe headache he was suffering. And just before he passed away, he told Bibi Fatima something that I'm going. So she became very saddened. And then he again said something to him, and she became very happy. So people did not understand what he said to Bibi Fatima. So when people asked Bibi Fatima, so she said that, when he was sick, he says, I'm going. And that saddened me. And then he said that first person to come and meet me after I pass away, will be you. So Bibi Fatima, she passed away 6 months after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed. So inshallah, some other time we'll discuss more in detail is passed away. But these ayats is in the third year of Hijrat, and you see, but Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, he recited those ayats when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away. And if you look at the whole Khilafat, he lived on 2 years as a Khalifa, and in that, what it is describing, like if what happened that if Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away, would you turn back? And what happened when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away? Actually, all the Arabia before Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away had converted to Islam, but they reverted. Like all the Arabian tribes, Banu Asad, Banu Hanifa, and all that, only 3 tribes, Ansar, Quraysh, and Saqif, they remain loyal to the Islam and the allegiance they made to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, just before he passed away, he saw a dream. He saw a dream that on his hand, 2 of the birds came and sit. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam blew on those birds, those sparrows, and they flew away. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam interpreted this dream that there will be 2 fitnas that will arise after that. And when he was sick, before he passed away, the chief of Banu Hanifa tribe, Musallimatul Kazzab, he came and visited and said that, I want to accept Islam, but I want you to name me the Khalifa after me. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a stick in his hand. He says, I will not even give it to you. And that's what happened when he passed away. A lot of them, they say, okay, Mazallah, that if Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a prophet, why would he pass away? So let's go back to our old religion. Let's go back to paganism. And a lot of them, they went back to paganism. Some of the tribes, they say, no, we will not go back to paganism, but we will refuse to pay, this tax, which was zakat. So Hazrat Abu Bakr, when he became Khalifa, the whole Arabian tribes were in rebellion. So people asked him to show some compromise. But as this blessed Ruku described it, he said that, he will not compromise. He fought with those people who had reverted back to their pagan ways, and he fought with those people. They call themselves Muslim, but refused to pay zakat. And Khalid bin Walid was appointed for most of these, they call it Rida wars, and Khalid bin Walid played an instrumental role. And many of those, Tuliha was chief of Banu Asad. He claimed prophethood, but later repented. Musallimatul Kazzab, the chief of Banu Hanifa, he claimed prophethood, and he was killed by the very person who killed Hazrat Hamza. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq sent an expedition under the command of Khalid bin Walid, and among that was Wahshi, who had killed Hamza. At the conquest of Makkah, he had accepted Islam, and he had the same javelin from which he killed Hazrat Hamza. He went, and in the battlefield, Hazrat Khalid bin Walid was approaching in the battle to kill Musallimatul Kazzab, but Wahshi took a lead and threw a javelin. He was a very expert javelin thrower that killed Musallimatul Kazzab. And he said that among Jahiliyyah, I killed the best of the man with this javelin, and in Islam, I killed the worst of the man, which is Musallimatul Kazzab, with the same javelin. And that's when he feel a little relief that he felt that somehow he had repented by killing a false prophet through the same javelin. And Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq took a very, and this life that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lived, the life of 63 years. What is the wisdom? Allah knows the best. But not only Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but all his Khulfa lived the same life, 63 years. So this is how it is mentioned in that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تَمُوتُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ كِتَابٍ مُعَجَّلًا. So it is not up to individual, because nobody chooses that time. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam lived a blessed life of 63 years. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, who was 2 years younger than him, he lived 2 years after Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he passed away at the age 63. Hazrat Umar Farooq, he was almost 13 years younger than Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he passed away after about 13 years, 2 years of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq and 11 years of his own rule, and then he passed away. So his age was 63. Only exception to that rule is Hazrat Usman, who lived a life of 88 years. But then Hazrat Ali, who was 30 years younger than Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he passed away, his age was 63 years old. So what was this hikmah? Allah chose Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and 3 of his khulfas to take them away at age 63. Allah knows the best. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when his last time came, so Jibreel Amin came and says that angel of death is outside your door, and he's asking for permission to come in. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that summoned him in. So this angel of death came to meet Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he said, "Salam, salutation to you." He says, "I've never say salutation to anybody. You are the first person I'm saying salutation or salam to you." And he says that, I ask you permission. Can I take you away, or you want to live? Whatever you say, I will obey your command. So Nabi Rasulullah looked at Jibreel Amin. So Jibreel Amin said that, Allah is awaiting for you. So Nabi Rasulullah, even his passing away, asked, what will happen to my ummah? What will happen to my ummah? We people who live a worldly life, at last age, we think what will happen to our children. Nabi Muhammad is asking, what will happen to my ummah? When assurances was made, Allah will have some blessing on your ummah. So he said, I'm ready to go. And that's how he departed. So last thing I want to say is about the blessed mountain of Ahad. Nabi Muhammad used to say, Ahad is a mountain that it loves us and we love it too. Why? Because it gave refuge. Because in the mountain of Ahad, it gave refuge to Nabi Sallallahu and his Sahabas. So he loved it, and it is one of the mountains of Jannah. So the battle is named the Battle of Uhud, but it is a very blessed mountain, and it is one of the mountains of Jannah. So inshallah, I will end it here. Any brothers have any questions?
Assalamu alaikum bhai.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, Allah mazid fazid. Allah increase you. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Beautiful. Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah.
So this hikmah of age 63, I do not understand, but this was the age chosen for Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and three of his sons. And my Murshid Qibla, he passed at the age 63 too. So this is a age Allah likes it, Allah knows best.